Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
All right, Browns fans, welcome back to the Bearded Browns podcast. If you missed the game against the Baltimore Ravens, consider yourself blessed. This offense showed up like it got lost in the traffic jam and our QBs lost their GPS. It was buffering. Horrible experience that we've had this past Sunday against those Baltimore Ravens. It seemed like their leading receiver was the turf because those quarterbacks just could not find anybody. The Browns offense is so bad, Mike, that Myles Garrett had to try to sack our own quarterback in order to get the ball back so the defense can score so we can get points. We're going to talk about this game today. But first, before we start off, we're going to talk about Bernie Kosar. Is recovering from liver transplant, or is it kidney?
Liver
Transplant.
Liver.
Yeah, he had. It was a wild weekend of just watching that experience, him getting it, not getting it, and then him finally going under surgery and coming out today. So shout out to Bernie for, pulling through, man. And he's up on his socials telling people you matter, like less than 12 hours after surgery. It's pretty insane.
The biggest shout out, to be honest, goes to this kid, Bryson Dunlap. The person who donated the liver to Bernie Kosar was just a 21-year-old kid from Ohio, devoted Cleveland Browns fan, passed away from an anoxic brain injury. And the family specifically requested a directed donation to Bernie Kosar, knowing how much Bryce admired Bernie and the Cleveland Browns. So this kid right here is the reason Bernie is alive today.
That is good
prayers-
stuff, man. I didn't know
Prayers
that.
to him and his family.
Mm-hmm.
How would
I
they?
saw a video of him walking, and I forget what they call it, what the walk for the donor down to the OR, but it's like the walk of honor or something like that. I'm blank on it, but there's a bunch of family members and Browns fans there when he was taking the hallway walk to the OR to donate the liver when they were finally like saying goodbye to him. And in these cases, like he's got an anoxic brain injury, and prognosis was he was not going to survive it. So the family decided to donate the liver, and that is how they harvest a lot of organ donations, to somebody who's on life support, and they're deciding like, let's find somewhere for each of these organs to go, and then that's when we say goodbye. Tough, but the Mike's not lying when he says like that kid, it for the time being saved Bernie's life, because the survival rate on a successful liver transplant, I would say, is probably close to 90% for surviving at least 1 year, and it's probably like 75 or so percent for surviving like 5 additional years. They don't do forever, but those are, for a transplant, those are very good rates. And obviously he's very young, and so at least as far as the liver is concerned, Bernie's going to have like 121-year-old organ running for him, and so that is, for him, it's not over, but that is a very fortunate situation for somebody, and to look at like the loss of somebody and how it can like bring another person, especially somebody that's so dear to Cleveland and even the family that made this decision's heart, that's a pretty big deal.
How would they
Yeah.
know right away if that was a match? Is that like a blood test
Yeah,
that they do?
they'll do testing.
Right,
And
that
I know in
was
some cases there's times where, especially with liver transplants, where the body could reject the liver completely, and definitely
Mhm.
don't want that to happen. But
They've gotten much better at that. Again, like I said, if the liver takes and he survives this hospitalization, his 1 year prognosis being 90%, like that's huge for a an organ transplant. That's
so
were
yes,
you
prayers to you, the Dunlap family.
yeah,
yeah,
Definitely.
that's tough
probably
loss.
very tough for them. They must, it's got to give some solace, like losing a family member, especially somebody that young, like that's devastating.
Yeah.
But like knowing that in that process, like somebody that everybody knows and loves, and then also others. There's probably those organs probably went out to several people that will never get in the news, but chances are the kidney, like several people are probably saved from this kid at that young age being an organ donor, which I didn't even think about becoming until I was in grad school and we started needing organ donations as like related to our program. And it's just like, yeah, like just if it's not on your if it's not on your driver's license, like, and you're
It's done.
take that route, like do it. But because again, this kid had the potential to save multiple people's lives when his was lost.
Yes. So yeah, Browns, you guys know what to do. Win a Super Bowl here for Bryce. Much
Yeah.
appreciated. That's all we need, right?
Yeah. Maybe Bernie can come back and be our quarterback with that young liver, make him feel young enough to be quarterback again.
Gonna need a couple of
Um,
joint
He's
transplants and maybe a shoulder
getting a
transplant.
whole new body.
But yeah, he's
That's
been in
good
rough
stuff.
shape and he's been waiting for a long time, and that's really, really fortunate. And it's really like a happy ending to a tragic story that something positive came out of that. So
Yeah, well,
good on him and his family.
yeah, we'll move on to the top stories. Breaking today, Shedeur Sanders' home got broken into during the game, supposedly. And it's weird because there's this big thing going around where even Joe Burrow and a couple other NFL players, their homes getting breaking into while they're at work playing on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I think they said $200,000 of stuff was missing.
I would say that there's a big thing to the idea of, and of course, Shador is a very public figure. I don't follow like his media stuff, but I'm sure there's like some indications where he is. It used to be really easy for NFL players to like stay a little private and under the radar. These days, like they can find you and everybody knows your schedule when you're not going to be there. And unless you like have family at home, like if you're just going to be gone. But it is kind of a crazy thing that we never thought about. So it's so public and everybody's so searchable that like yeah, it's not crazy that this is a trend that's like, hey, we know where Shador lives and we know he's not going to be in Cleveland on Sunday, or we know he's going to be at the stadium from this hour to this hour. And it's nuts that like to think of that everybody just knows when you're gone and they know you got some money.
You know,
They
I
just
would love for
broke
somebody
in.
to break into my house. Come in. And one of two things are going to happen. You're going to leave with my wife, or you're going to not leave at all.
Leave with your wife. Oh,
I'll tell you
you're
this,
gonna take my
I
wife. You're
dare
not taking my
somebody,
podcast stuff.
You can take the
I
kids
dare
too.
somebody to break into my house and deal with Mr. Peanut Butter.
Oh yeah, peanut butter's a beast.
I'll take care of you.
He's got a weak name, but he is tough. I'll tell you that.
I dare you to come in here and deal with Mr. Peanut Butter.
Sounds
On
so
to the
tough.
other story. If you watch the game, you know that Shedeur, we're going to talk about it a little later, got in for half of the game. There's a big rumblings that Dylan might not. Well, odds are he probably will not pass concussion protocol. So Sanders will get his first NFL start, maybe.
Chad and I were talking about it yesterday. I think the typical protocol is 7 to 9 days. So
Yeah,
I don't ever see anybody coming back the same week.
it's very rare. It's like, and it's symptomatic too. So there's no timeline. It's just, they just test you every day until you're completely clear of symptoms for whatever amount of time it is. And then you're off. But it is, I think the average time is like somewhere around like 7, 8 days. Is a pretty typical. I shouldn't say the average. That's a pretty typical time. It can go way, way, way longer, but it's not impossible at his age. But it would be a shock if he's ready. And to think about it, even if he's ready on like Saturday, they're probably with no practices, they're probably not going to play him. but pretty 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 crazy situation. It's very likely that Sanders is going to get this week of practice and get his first like full-fledged start.
It could be 4 weeks, Chad. 4. It could be 4.
Good.
Or,
I mean, how long was Cedric Tillman out?
yeah, he was
Cedric
out
Tillman was
4.
out for like 7 weeks or something. I felt like.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
Sam. Oh, Sam.
4.
He says the
Um,
burglar did not find a playbook at Shedeur Sanders' house.
Come on.
Dude. That might be
Oh,
true
man.
considering how some people thought he played. And we will get into that more. But I have a question for you guys. This is something I thought of. I sent it over to you guys earlier over the weekend. I was starting to think a lot about Kevin and his future. And I thought of before and after Watson. And I thought of this question. I want to see your guys' take on it. Would Kevin's trajectory as a Browns coach be different if the Cleveland Browns would have never signed Deshaun Watson?
Yes.
All right. Why so?
You would have hopefully a quarterback that would be better than what we thought Deshaun was. I mean, that's obviously unknown. We're never going to really know that. Is it a system thing or is it a Kevin thing or what is it? There's something wrong where something cannot be developed here, whether it be wide receivers or quarterback. So, but with that being said, I think, yes, for sure. I think we would be in a different scenario right now if we didn't do the Watson trade.
Yeah, I think the easy assumption, and it doesn't mean it's necessarily true, the easy assumption is you stick with Baker Mayfield and then you're in really freaking good shape, right?
Yeah.
So, but let's just say Baker's still furious. He demands a trade. They decide not to re-sign him, so he takes his free agency. In any situation, it's hard to imagine because, like, people were disappointed that they gave up so much for Deshaun and he wasn't a superstar when he was here. But the reality of it is before those injuries kicked in all that rust, he was 3 for 6, 500 his first year. And then I think he was 4-1 the next year, making him 7-4 before he had that shoulder injury and then the Achilles. And so it comes to reason that even when he was playing pretty average, we didn't think as good as Baker Mayfield at the time. He was still went 7-4. So
Yeah.
even if he could have just stayed out there. So like even if Baker had left, you didn't get Watson. If you just could have gotten any quarterback, whether it was in the draft or free agency, that actually could have played a full 16 or 17 game season, chances are you're in better shape. I've always thought the biggest part of the Watson flop was he's never out there. 16
Yeah.
games in 5 years is not nobody win. I don't care how good Josh Allen is. If he plays 15 games over the next 5 years, the Bills will be a nightmare because you can't replace him because he's your starter and he's get paid a lot and you're also expecting him to be back and you can't get another like steady guy in. You're just shuffling like veteran backups because you can't move on because he's supposed to be out there. So the biggest thing we've suffered from is just his inavailability from these injuries. And so, yeah, I just think you could have literally taken Jacoby Brissett on this team for
He's
a
playing good
4-year
right now
deal.
too.
If you knew you didn't have Watson,
Yeah.
like now they're in a position like I think if they knew they didn't have Watson, they would have signed another guy who could have been better. But they just
Yeah.
didn't.
Or even draft somebody because you probably, I mean,
Yeah.
Baker was
Even
good
if
enough
he's
to
mid.
where even, yeah.
Mid would be
live
better than
between-
no Deshaun.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would
But
have
do
had
you
those
think
picks.
Baker Mayfield would still be mid here if he were still here, or would he be doing
I think he'd be
pretty
not
well?
as good as he is now, but I think he'd still be pretty good. I mean, I think he'd have been somewhere in the average of what he was before he got hurt, somewhere around 2020. It's not what he's doing now,
Yeah.
but if he was just 2020 Baker, we'd probably made the playoffs like 3 times.
Especially with this defense, because we've been saying give us average 15, top 15, 10 to 15 type of offense, and this defense will.
Defense is so
help
much
you.
better now
Yeah.
than the one that was playing with Baker. So if you
Yeah.
just even had the typical Baker, some people think he stunk. I thought he just had an injured year. I think even if it was just he never got better, even if he just stayed 2020, which I doubt he wouldn't have improved, you'd still, I think, made the playoffs like 2 additional times just for him being out there and steady.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kevin's trajectory would be a little different.
And we'd all
He
feel
was winning
different about him.
with
We'd be
bums.
like,
Yeah, we felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
then you
pissed
had
at him because
opportunity to
last
draft.
year we won 4 games or whatever it was, and this year we're gonna win.
Gonna win
We won
2,
3
3.
last year. Yeah, we won 3 last year. This year, we're on track to win maximum probably at this point 4. That's why everybody's pissed. If it was the 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and that was the Kevin we knew, we'd all still be feeling pretty good. 2 playoffs,
Guys,
2 mediocre years. It just fell apart.
what do you think about this? Jacoby Brissett, since James brought him up, Jacoby Brissett, his last game against the 49ers had, 452 passing yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions.
He's been pretty good this year and filling in. I mean, I wouldn't be like he's the future, but obviously they found something. He's got something
I think
connecting there.
I mean, I honestly think we were getting more out of him than they're getting out of him. He wasn't
Yeah.
throwing interceptions here. He did well in the real Kevin offense that we kind of grew to know with Kevin and AVP. He was pretty good there, but I think, you know, they'll figure him out. But like I said, if he was here for 4 straight years, he'd be better than what we were seeing. I think as average as he is, it's better than what we've had because at least
Yeah,
it's the same
100%.
guy over and over. The line knows how to block for him. The receivers know it. He knows all the plays. Nobody on this team gets to know the offense. They play here for 6 games and they're out.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
how many guys have we played more than 6 games in a season so far? The last one to do it, I think, is Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
Everybody only plays
I can
5, 6,
remember maybe
7
2 or
games and they're
3.
done.
Yeah,
And they're not even that.
Yeah.
That's how much they play that season. The next year, they're all gone. It's Flacco and PJ Walker, DTR, Winston.
new
Like
flock
they
of
just play a
quarterbacks.
handful of games here, less than 10, 6, 7, I'd say around, and then they're done with this team.
Yeah, and even with the quarterbacks that
Can't
come out, I
win
mean,
that
you
way.
probably could have, depending on how you played, Bo Nix would have been there, or even our guy Drake May. Guys that were even serviceable. Maybe you get those type of guys. And Kevin, here's my problem. The reason why I brought this up is because it seems like Kevin needs a specific quarterback in order to.
Oh, you hear that? The quarterback train? You guys hear that?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. Angel, I get your point. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, does he need?
Because it seems like anyone that it's weird because he'll win with like PJ Walker and we bring up these Brissett, Jacoby, and he seems like his offense is good. But when you bring somebody in like that's a Ferrari or somebody with that arm, a cannon, he struggles to figure out how to utilize that asset to make his offense better and make them better. And I hate the topic people say that Kevin hurts quarterbacks' growth. I don't think that's true. But when I look back at it, I'm like, man, these quarterbacks who have cannon, and I sent it to you guys. I looked up like, did Watson? This is how long it's been. Like, does Watson ever throw a deep ball? And like, I had to look back, and when he was in Houston, I'm like, man, he was accurate downfield too, and he threw a lot downfield. But here, it seemed like he never had that opportunity. Maybe limited to games, but it also too like was Kevin part of the issue where he's like, no, we don't doing that. We're a rhythm type of offense where you got to get up on the field, you got to hurry up get up underneath the center and hurry up and throw the ball. It's a rhythm where we'll probably get into with Shedeur where it's like if someone throws off the rhythm of the offense, he kind of like, no, I don't like that guy.
Yeah, it's just for me. I think Baker did throw deep, but I think it was a lot in like off play action, and then he would kind of move it around. It was a rhythm offense, and then they would do a play action, and he would kind of find a guy down the field, or they would bootleg him, and he'd be able to go long. Again, the only electric guy we've had since then is Watson, and he just didn't play much. And he also, I think we all agree, like he did.
I agree. You got to change the electric word. You could take that out. That he was never electric. No.
Before he was here, I guess. Before he was here, he was electric. So like he's the one guy you can say. Everybody else, like Kevin, gets their hands on him. They make something out of what I think is mostly nothing here, and then they go like PJ Walker's out of the league as soon as he left the Browns. He won games here. He's out of the league. DCR won not many games here. He won 1, I think. But he's not even in the league. A lot of these guys, Jacoby won like I forget 6 games out of like the 10 he played or whatever, and then he, or or he played 11. I think he won 6 or 7 or something like that.
He was our Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, he didn't win as many. I'm overestimating what he won, but he won some games, and then he went for a couple years, and he couldn't even get in a lineup. And then the one guy though that you can say, and people will say like, "Oh, Baker left and he got good." I just think Baker was good here.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he just his time. He's more towards his prime. I don't think he was bad here. I think he is actually bad in Carolina. I think he went to Carolina and was like, "Ooh, that's way worse." But I would say the one guy you can look at and say he used to be good, then he got to Cleveland and he turned bad instead of
Watson.
the opposite direction. It's
Yeah.
Watson. It's the one
And
guy where you're like,
right.
he
You're
used to
right.
be incredible.
Injuries have a big part of that too. You know, he's not in there consistently. You can't run a system consistently.
Yeah,
Get
5 or 6
comfortable.
games a year
Yeah.
for 3 years and then nothing since. Like that's not enough to like get used to it. But I would say I think we all agree like this may not have been the offense for him. He may have this is a very like timing based offense and a very like read the defense offense. He is more of a like ad lib and like run around and make plays type of a quarterback. I think
Which
you were
we have
right
one
when
of
you brought
those
it up
on-
like 2 weeks ago, Angel, when you're like, he pretended like he was going to be okay with this offense, and he got here and he's
It's
like,
like,
I don't want to do that.
I got my money, dog. I'm about to run my
I don't wanna-
offense. Give me
Yeah,
my
I
don't wanna do
240
that.
mil.
The funniest thing was the other day when Angel was looking up all these stats about long balls, and he's like, "I don't even know why I'm wasting time with this. We're not going to throw any long balls." Like,
Yeah.
Like,
But Angel, you
No,
mentioned about the other day, the NFL,
Yeah.
the average, we talked about it last week, the
10
average
to
only
13% a
10
year.
yeah, about 10% of the games that are,
Games.
or 10% of the throws are, and it's not when we say long ball, 10% of the throws are 20 yards or farther, which isn't
Yeah.
even that far. So like we put too much stock into it, but I think the reality is in NFL, if a team doesn't believe you can do it or you don't occasionally do it, they just don't respect it, and that cuts off everything short because they know they can just be closer. They cover guys one-on-one. They keep one safety back. They stack the box. Like it changes the entire way a defense responds if a quarterback refuses to go downfield. And one of the biggest disappointments I have in the whole Dylan era is he's had 1 or 2 times to just launch it just to see, and he just hasn't, and that's frustrating because he did in college. It's not like he's never thrown a deep ball. He wasn't a dink. He dinks and he dunks, and then he would take a shot, and it was like, oh.
I want to hit it. Oh,
It's frustrating.
sorry. I want to hit Gary's comment really quick. He says Baker was hurt and never had a chance to heal here, which is kind of false. Well, it was his fault because he was the one that wanted to go out there and play. It was his contract year coming up, so he said, "I'm going to play and show you guys my worth."
And it
was not
blew
good.
him out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it was.
And I think
it's
that's where
definitely-
obviously the headbutting happened because Baker had more power than Kevin because Baker was winning and the organization liked Baker. That was their franchise quarterback. Kevin's like, he's hurt. I can't do nothing with this kid. He's not running the system properly.
I get a feeling too, with it being a contract year, Barry was probably like, if he wants to play, let him play because we got to make some decision on whether we sign this guy to a 4-year, $40 million deal. And so, like, if he's not going to get the surgery, then his ass better be out there because surgery and bench. Like, we need to either he gets it and we figure it out next year, or he doesn't get it. He's going to miss half of next year or be bad. And like, I think he was just like, if he want to, like, almost like if he's so determined to dig his grave, hand him the shovel and let's see what he does. And he believed in himself, but that was not the time to do it. He should have sat down.
Yeah. Also, too,
Baker
was not their quarterback. Baker was not their quarterback, so they're not as invested.
Yeah. If it was Dorsey still here, or if it was Barry that had drafted him, and Barry's on a like, well, we need to evaluate him to decide if we're going to give him a contract. If you're the guy that drafted him, you already have in your head like he's my guy. We definitely are going to give him the contract to protect him. And it was more of a like, if he isn't that guy, if he's not my guy, like we'll just find somebody different. And they shot and missed.
Blew it
bad.
All right, enough with that talk. We're about to get into the game talk, so we're going to start off with our favorite segment, brought to you by Allstate. Call Allstate Insurance, make the switch, save yourself some money. It's our favorite segment, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, Good, Bad, and Ugly brought to you by Allstate Insurance. Give Doug White a call. Please let him know that we sent you. Get a quote. See if you can save yourself some money. We're going to start
Speaking
off
of
with
that,
the
really
good,
quick,
Chad. Yep. Yes.
really quick. I actually just switched to Doug White Allstate and saved me about $60 a month. So make the phone call, get your guys selves a quote, and switch because you're in good hands with Allstate.
In Gary's hands.
Yeah, and you know who else you're in good hands with? Myles Garrett in this defense. So once again, I mean, we got the good, bad, and the ugly. I hate to be repetitive, but I do think that there's some deserving this week. The good was the Ravens offense has Lamar back, and they're actually pretty darn talented when he's out there. And for most of this game, especially when the Browns offense was at least moving the ball despite not scoring, the defense was carrying them. They continued to do what they weren't able to do last year, and that's get turnovers. And they're doing the one thing this team needs them to do desperately, and that's score points. So they're responsible for the only touchdown of the game. Miles will get to later, but he continues to set records. This is like the only silver lining in a very bleak storm right now is that this defense continues to just be so good that they may have two defenders winning an award on a team, and right now that's the amount of wins they have. They might win as many defensive player awards as they win games this season, and that's just crazy to me. So yeah, the good is this defense keeps on coming.
I got bad, and it's the offensive line. Offensive line was horrible. Matter of fact, the offensive line is so bad, the team nutritionist suggests they eat something with the backbone because they don't have one. They were getting ran over. They were getting plowed through. Pause. But either way, they're bad. They're bad. Regardless of what quarterback's back there, they just was not doing the job. A lot of holes. We desperately need to invest in all our money in 5 people in the 3 to 5 people in the offensive line this offseason and upgrade that line because you can get whatever quarterback you want to get, Mendoza, Tyler, or whatever, Ty Simpson. It doesn't matter. It could be Shedeur. Speaking of, it popped up in the comments. It doesn't
Get yourself
matter.
a Manning.
Yeah, the offensive line needs help. So hopefully they can fix that. Mike?
Yeah.
The ugly. It was Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut, and I'm not going to count the kid out just yet, guys, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Think about it. He said he had no practice with the ones. Okay. We gather that, and typically that's a thing in the league. Apparently, I don't think with all teams, but most I'd gather. But now that he has a full week ahead of him with the ones, a game plan that's set up for him, I cannot wait to see what happens this week. That game with him throwing the interception, the fumble, the running backwards, which we've all had a problem with, kind of symbolizes what we've been talking about, and it showed why he's not in there yet. I gather that as well. But with a game plan set for him this week to start against the Raiders, which the Raiders aren't a good team. So obviously I'm looking forward to next week's game for sure. It's this Sunday. We're going to talk a lot more about it on Saturday's show, but it's going to be interesting to see what this kid could do.
During the game, Shedeur's accuracy was so shaky, the ball needed Dramamine.
I don't feel so good.
This is all I have for you tonight. I'm coming in strong. I got some takes. It's got some takes. And we're gonna have fun with it because this team sucks so bad. I don't even know if we're gonna win a game. I know that 10 people listen, people are talking about Vegas. Oh, Vegas, we got Vegas. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose in Vegas. I got an L there. We'll probably beat Tennessee, probably. But and that's probably because Miles is going to get like 20 sacks because Cam Moore is going to be running back for his life, just like Shedeur. But either way, this team is horrible. We're going to go on to game recap. We're going to talk about the offense. Speaking of offense, the Browns' offense is so bad. Amazon tried to deliver a touchdown but couldn't find the address.
We're going to be getting bad jokes all night, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up.
This is all you're going to get. The game recap is brought to you by Lego Heads. Lego Heads Barber Saloon, located in Berea, about 5 minutes from the Browns training facility. I'll go there and talk tomorrow and let them know that we sent you. Get a beard trim and a haircut and experience that hot towel treatment. Guys, let's talk about Dylan Gabriel. Mike, what is your thoughts on his?
Really quick, Facebook just got shut down apparently. So you guys go to YouTube. Check us out there. I don't know why we just lost the stream for Facebook, but we did. Dylan Gabriel.
Dang it.
He didn't show me anything new. I wasn't impressed. I think everybody was on a Shedeur train and ready for that, but still just the same stuff that you've seen week in and week out to me. So I wasn't excited about the move in the middle of a game, but it happened. But we'll get more onto that here shortly. Dylan Gabriel is a backup and always will be that. And 5.5 games, I know Chad hates this, but in 5.5 games, I saw it. And it could be our line. It could be the offensive line that is not helping any quarterback that's going to be on this team. It really could. So take that Dylan Gabriel with a grain of salt.
Chad, what do you think about Dylan's one half of
Yeah,
performance?
I mean, nothing exciting. This is not the hardest. We are still doing the same thing that we always do with like, oh, it's the Steelers, and that's a little different situation, but oh, it's the Ravens. Like, oh, he had to face against a Ravens defense. This Ravens defense is not good, guys. This Ravens defense is not good. They're a mediocre defense, and I actually thought, well, they can score points, and their defense is mid. This is another one of those games, and there hasn't been many. The weather was better than others. This is one of the few games where I was like, okay, well, this was where Dylan should have some chance to go down the field and do something, and he couldn't. I mean, like I said, the biggest disappointment, like I expected him to be a backup in the long run. I thought when he got his chance to start, which I didn't think would have come so early, I thought, I bet he'll be like an okay game manager. And I would say, like, at this point, like, that is the role he's playing, but he's just not doing a good enough job at it.
Yeah.
Like, game after game, if you had asked me just bets, like, how do you think this offense will be with Dylan? I would have been like, I bet we average somewhere around 20 points a week. And we're not even doing that with him in there.
It's like
with
13.
him in there, we're averaging like 13 or something. And that's an entire score below what I thought he was capable of. He's just not the guy we saw in college for those of us that watched him. And he's not doing the things that he was expected to be good at. And I would say the big thing with Dylan was like, he has a low ceiling because we all thought he's probably a long-term backup because he'll always be somewhat limited by his size, and he's only got an average arm. He's just an okay thrower. But the big thing was like what he was supposed to be able to do well is like read the defense, deliver the ball to the right spots, and like stay poised and not make a lot of mistakes. And he's been taking too many sacks. He's not distributing the ball well. What we saw in preseason was kind of the Dylan. I was like, that's kind of the guy I'll expect to see. And that was the guy who was like 4 for 4 on third downs. Where you're like, okay, he just knows where to go with the ball on third down. He gets it to exactly the guy that's across the line and on time, and they don't get any yards after catch, but they were 3rd and 6, and he threw a 7-yard pass. And it's just not what we're seeing. So I would say overall, like, pretty disappointed. He's still not showing anyone anything. And again, I just think the Browns probably have a plan similar to me of like, this guy's in our long-term future in some capacity. They probably wanted to give him 6 to 8 games as a starter, at least just to like, if he's going to be our long term, that's who's going. They also probably wanted to let him tread the water. After I doubt Stefanski would have wanted to trade Flacco. I think do you guys agree with that? I doubt Stefanski was like, yeah, let's get Flacco out of here. I felt like they kind of pulled the rug under him a little by trading him, and I thought, well, they have different agendas. Stefanski wants stability, and he wants to play the best football he can now. Barry is thinking, we're not very good. Let's get anything we can for this guy. When the story came out recently, and I don't know if this changed your guys' mind. I don't know if you even heard it, the story came out about a week or two ago that Flacco said when they made him a backup, he considered retiring. Did you guys hear that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't. Oh, so Flacco in a press conference said, like, it's a really long career. When I got changed into a backup, I I considered retiring, like, and just calling it quits. And when you hear that, you think, maybe there's a chance he talked to the staff about that and was like, hey guys, like, I just can't do this anymore as a backup. Like, if I'm not going to start, like, can you trade me somewhere? Or like, I'm considering just retiring. That changed my whole perspective because, like, if he's going to retire and you're going to get nothing,
Yeah.
of course, Andrew Berry's like, yeah, I'll ship you to literally anyone for anything if they'll pay it. But my point in saying that is, like, despite Dylan being disappointing, I don't think they wanted to play him as early as they did. I don't think he came in under great circumstances, and I don't. But he's had chances to be better than he's been, and he's just not getting it done. So, like, I get everybody's perspective of, like, the fan perspective of, like, we want to see Sanders because Dylan's not the guy. I said almost the whole time, the only reason I'm okay sticking with Dylan is because I don't want Sanders to go in before he's ready, because it could be a disaster and it could be worse than everybody thinks. And I guess now we can move on to Sanders because I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, Dylan. What's baffling about me, Dylan's even his short passes were not accurate. Like, there were one to Fanning where he kind of just was. I mean, he was open. I mean, he could have had like 3 or 5 yards off it, but he just done it overthrown, but just was too far to the left. I mean, it's bizarre to see.
He's pressing and he doesn't look natural at all.
No, he
And
doesn't.
don't you think like the one thing we thought is, like, well, he's got a really slow ceiling, but he has a pretty high floor where he'll be kind of like at least steady to start.
No,
I
I
agree
mean,
with you. He
he's
doesn't look good.
actually
He's throwing it
dropping in.
erratically.
He's just not improving. He's rapidly getting worse, and that's weird to see. As you think as the reps continue, he would get more comfortable, but it never happened.
And he's had tough
because of that,
situations, but this was not one of them, in my opinion.
yeah, he
This wasn't a hard situation. The Ravens aren't that good on defense. The weather was fine. Like, it wasn't a hard situation to play football. When he was in there, like, yes, the offensive line stinks, but they're not worse than they've been. They're just equally stinky. And, like, he should have at this point, he should be able to find something he can do, and the play caller should be finding something that he's successful at and doing it, and it's not happening.
I agree. Let's not spend the whole show talking about a backup quarterback, guys. Let's move along to our new starter here.
our former backup quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. As far as Dylan, I'll say one thing: the deep ball shows up less than my friends when it's time to move furniture. So we got to move on from him, because if a friend does not help me move furniture, I don't want that friend around. And same with my.
Do you at least have beer and pizza for said friend?
Yeah, sure.
Dude, beer and pizza is for your friends when you're like 24. At this age, like, beer and pizza, you got to have like a bottle of ibuprofen and like a doctor and like a HSA if you're going to have your friends come move your furniture.
Shedeur Sanders got in the second half and 16 reps. You can't really, people are like really harsh on him. Like, really, I get optically it looked horrible. Yes. There's some passes that look promising. Yes. But overall, I mean, okay. So as for me advocating that I would rather see him than Dylan, I thought after watching that, I realized Chad might be right. There's no different. Well, I think they're the same. And I can see why they had Sanders held back sometimes, because he's doing exactly what he did in Buffalo, running back. Threw a couple passes that were like, he's kind of getting antsy. But I felt like as he got comfortable, his passes looked better and he looked more comfortable running the offense. So my hope is that if he does start having this week to get better, we'll see some improvement.
I am looking forward to seeing this kid. Like I said before, a week of game planning, seeing this kid. Wyatt Teller was pissed off because that was the first time he's ever heard his cadence. The line doesn't know what to do. The
Well,
receivers don't know what to do.
let's
Hold
pull
on,
it
hold
back.
on.
He wasn't
Hold
pissed
on, hold on,
off.
hold on. No, he was pissed off. He was screaming on the sideline. How is he not pissed
I
off?
thought that was because a Baltimore
He was
Ravens
screaming off
guy
because the guy jumped
got
offside,
outside.
but he
Oh,
wasn't
there was
yelling
more
screaming.
at the
after
ref.
that. Oh,
Yeah,
there
he
was
wasn't
more. There was
screaming
more.
about not hearing from Shedeur's case. He was screaming because the guy jumped offsides and they didn't call it, and it ended the game.
But then also think
That
about
guy
it this
was
way:
offside.
you guys, the guys, he's been practicing with the 2s and 3s, right?
Well,
Okay, so
I would say
you
scout
built,
team.
or you
at
built
least.
confidence with those guys. You know what those guys are capable of doing. But now you're with the elite of the team, the number ones.
Well,
You have to know how these
elite.
guys run.
Well, number one's in
Yeah, well,
quotations.
yeah,
they are the number ones. Elite is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the generosity, Mike.
yes, yeah, I agree. The wide receivers.
I wish
You
they were
build
elite.
confidence with them as well. It's a team thing. So you got to watch these guys. You guys know their steps. You guys know the playbook. Obviously, you run off of that. But every receiver in this league is different. Something else will happen during a play. If they see blown coverage or something, they're going to try to get into that area and make a play happen. Nobody knows what Shedeur or the receivers are going to do. I don't think the receivers know what they're doing at any time in the game except Cedric Tillman right now, to be honest with you guys. He's the only guy that showed up last week. Judy was catching balls.
It's shocking the difference Cedric Tillman makes out there. Like, I'm blown away that he came back from that. I know he made some plays early with Joe Flacco before he got hurt. He came back, and I'm like, yeah, that helps. But like, it's only Cedric Tillman, and like, our offense stinks. But like, one of the few bright spots is Cedric Tillman looks like he's a football player, and it's like, who would have thought that he would have had any impact at all? He's one of the only guys catching passes.
Yeah,
but
getting open.
I don't know.
Judy caught a couple, but it's just
yeah. He the best catch he had, he bobbled
almost
around.
dropped. They still made that first down happen. I was like, please, you better catch the ball.
And he did. On sheer, that's like sheer. That's what we've been seeing from Harold Fannin and Judkins. That sheer, like, I'm not going to let this guy bring me down. I just am going to push. They really wanted to win that game. Here's what I would say, because I'm going to try to be factual and fair to both guys. To be fair, the offense stunk under Dillon. We only scored 9 points. To also be fair, Shedeur Sanders plays an equal amount, and we scored none points, guys. 0 points with Shedeur. He scored none points. We were winning the entire game. We were winning, what, 13-3, and then it's 13-10, then it's 13-13, then it gets away from us. We lost a 10-point lead during the time Shedeur Sanders was in. He went 4 for 16 and completed 25% of his passes. He took 2 sacks for 27 yards. Dillon took 1 sack for 7. Shedeur took 2 for 27. That's so bad. And again, it's just so bad. And then he threw an immediate pick. I think he fumbled the ball twice. I think he got.
It was the one
once I remember. Yeah, one fumble he recovered.
Okay, one.
So
he
two
fumbled the ball once.
turnover-worthy plays. Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2 turnover-worthy plays. So all I can say is he's worse than Dillon Gabriel. He looked worse than Dillon Gabriel today. But and I think people, the fan thing is, well, we want to see more because he threw down the field 3 times, even though one went out of bounds, one was deflected, and really good coverage by the defense. Like, Larvadain got his hands on it, but just great coverage by the defender getting his arm through there. And then one was completed. But I think we overvalue a guy who's and we did it with Winston. We overvalue a guy who sucks, but at least throws the ball down the field, because at least that gives you a moment of excitement. But I'm also on the same train as you guys I expect he will get better. Obviously, my worry is he is very hard on himself. I think we all saw the interview he had after the preseason game where he's like, "It's my fault. I'm sorry, Dad. Everything's my fault. I'm ruining everything." He's very hard on himself. We saw Andrew Berry try to go talk to him in the preseason, and he's like, "No, he tried to take the blame." He's like, I was disappointing today." He's just very tough on himself, which I think there's something to like about that, but also that will not help him to not be able. He's got to be like a cornerback. He's got to be able to make mistakes and brush them off. He can't dwell on it, and hopefully he won't. But
so be like Kevin Stefanski.
My biggest worry for him would be he spirals based on like being out there in a
Emotional.
bad situation, which we all agree this is a bad offense behind a bad line with bad receivers, and I just thought that it became very clear that there wasn't any conspiracy. They were holding him out because this is exactly
Yeah.
what they expected. And
Yeah,
some people said,
100%.
well, then I saw Ken Carmen on the morning show say, then why wasn't Bailey Zappi the backup? And I was like, you guys would have fucking crucified
Yeah.
Kevin if Bailey
What?
Zappi was the backup. You would have killed Kevin, and he
That's
would have been
typical
calling
radio
for his
stuff.
head just by having Zappi the backup because you didn't believe Sanders
wasn't ready.
wasn't ready. And we all agree he has a higher ceiling. We all agree he has a higher like upside potential. We all agree he's just a better thrower and he has a more natural feel and he's just like an energetic personality. Gabriel, love him for what he is as a backup. He's not like the heart and soul leader of a team. He is just very bland. And some of it is quirky and funny, but it's not like it doesn't drive you. But I guess I would say that's where I'm at. It's like for everybody, it's like, well, Sanders was better than Dillon. We saw more out of Sanders than we saw out of Dillon. Not really. Sanders' longest pass yesterday was 25 yards. Dillon's longest this season was 26. It's the same. It's what you said. It's the same. The difference is one of them blands his way into an offense that scores 3 points. The other one looks like he could maybe occasionally score a touchdown, but he also is going to make some giant
18
errors
points.
that make you
No
pull your
longer.
hair out.
Yeah, and also
he's
too,
gonna help the
something
other
that
team.
we didn't bring up either. He holds the ball. He held the ball a lot. Long.
Exactly
too
what we
long.
said was wrong. He
Yep.
holds the ball too long. He looks too long. He tries to spin out of everything like he's still in college, and he runs backward. 2 sacks for 27 yards. He's just going backwards.
Yeah,
He doesn't know how to like just get rid of the ball or to take a mild sack.
I agree with the stop running backwards thing. I completely do. I think we're going to see more. I guarantee you guys, we're going to see more out of Shedeur Sanders this week.
Guarantee anything.
I'm guaranteeing it.
I would not guarantee anything.
We might see the same. I think we could see the same. But I will say, I do think in the long run, he still has upside. He still could get better. But this was my worry because if he play, look, here's the fortunate thing, guys. We're playing the Raiders next week, and they don't have a good defense, and they're not. I mean, Crosby's going to go after him, but they're not a frightening defense. I would say he's about to play maybe the worst defense the Browns have played with either Dillon or Shedeur. Like, I'm not sure. The only other defense I think that we've played worse than them is the Bengals, and we had Flacco for that. But I'll say, like, this is a very good situation for him. It's indoors. It will be with a full week's prep. And I would expect to see better, but I just think him starting right now was my fear that is the one thing that could derail him, was starting before he was ready and him not being able to like, let's face it, like he's a very confident kid. He has a lot of fans that he could play like this for the next 6 games and they'll swear it's everybody else's fault. Yeah. But the one thing,
how is it not other people's fault though? Let me.
Has it been other people's fault for everybody else so far?
Well, here
it wasn't everybody else's fault when it was.
You have 2 rookies
Dillon
on one
Flacco.
team. You have 2 rookies on one team. No veteran to help these guys do anything. What Bailey Zappi going to help him? What is Zappi? A 4-string quarterback on every other team he's ever been on.
I mean, he's not good, but he's a veteran.
No, he's not good.
He's not good. Look.
No veteran
they had
presence.
Joe Flacco, and they had
past tense, Chad.
Kenny Pickett.
But
they had him to help. What are they going to help with in the game?
What are they going to? Why would
what are they going to help him with?
Here. So what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do, guys.
Can't help him with.
Cleveland Browns fan, I'm announcing it right now. This is how dumb this franchise is. We're going to go and get another quarterback to sit with 2 rookies next year and no vets. Hey, you sit on the bench for a year and watch these guys play half-ass football. Stupid.
Dude,
that's what we're going to do. We're going to pick up another.
What do you think the veteran quarterback is doing? He's got Deshaun Watson is there the whole time. They always talk about how Deshaun helps Shedeur figure out the film, and Deshaun's been a big mentor. We don't like him because he's been disappointing, but he's a veteran. He knows the game. Bailey Zappi knows the game. Kenny Pickett. He's had 4 fucking veterans. How many veterans do you want him to have?
They're all gone. That's my point. They're gone.
He still has 2.
Veterans.
That's more than every rookie in the league.
No
he has 2 veterans on the team right now.
And he was doing nothing.
They're gonna do? We have a quarterback coach that has 20 years of experience. How much help does this kid need? Because his last name is Sanders. He has the same amount of veterans as Dylan. He has the same amount of veterans as any rookie out there.
And Dylan didn't look good either, so he needs to
what
get added veteran for him too.
Tyler Shuck,
matter of fact, create a mentorship program where everyone gets a veteran quarterback.
Tyler Shuck's only veteran is Spencer Rattler, Mike. Is that why he is thrown for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns last game? No, it's because he can play. These guys are coached by their coaches. We always act like Joe Flacco was sitting there like walking them through the plays. Joe Flacco doesn't go over there and like coach them. Their coach coaches them. They have a quarterback coach whose only job is to coach the quarterback. Why do we act like that is not the thing in Cleveland? It's the thing in every team in America. 32 teams have a quarterback coach. That's who coaches Mahomes. That's who coaches Josh Allen. That's who coaches Geno Smith. They're all coached by their quarterback coach, not some other veteran. What veteran taught any of these guys how to play?
If I remember correctly, in the beginning of the season, we were talking about a big veteran presence needed to be here because we have 2 rookies, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? We had veterans, past tense. Now they're gone.
Yeah, how long do they need them? What are they going to still be doing?
You're trying to develop a quarterback with just a coach, just a quarterback coach. That's all you need.
Yes.
Right?
You think Joe Flacco was developing?
Deshaun Watson has his own quarterback coach. Deshaun Watson has his own personal quarterback coach. Is he bringing that guy in to help these guys out now?
Joe Flacco did say, "I'm not here to mentor anybody."
He said, I
know we loved him. We loved Joe Flacco, and we said that. Joe Flacco even said it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what he was? He was a fucking starting quarterback, and he sat there and watched plays happen on his little stupid iPad and went out there and threw an interception. This is what you guys do in the NFL. Throw picks, man. Cleveland.
That's what everybody does.
Cleveland, man. I love this city. I love this team. Thank you.
I just don't understand why everybody thinks like this kid needs something special that everyone else doesn't have.
Well, no, I'm saying, Chad, listen to what I'm saying, though.
Lord doesn't have a
next year
veteran either.
This year we have 2 rookies right now, right? 2 rookies. We're going to bring in another one next year. And then what are we going to consider Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel vets? Isn't that 4 years, 4 or 5 years? You got to be until you're vetted, technically. Me and you talked about it one time.
I would call a veteran like a 4-year guy, but yeah, technically, veteran is off the rookie deal. But I just think we don't know what they're going to do in the offseason. They might ditch at least one of these 2 guys. They might bring in another veteran. They might, but I do like having a veteran on the team. I think it helps for the locker room and the film room to have a veteran. But like I said, they have Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi's not good, but he knows the game. These are the type of guys like Dan Orlovsky, Chase Daniels that go like, who's Carson Palmer's brother's name? A lot of these guys that are mid quarterbacks are future quarterback coaches and or like analysts because they understand the game. They just don't have the physical ability to do it. Like you have these guys like Colt McCoy, stays in the league for 15 years. He's never really good, but now he's constantly like doing quarterback breakdowns. It's because he knows what the quarterback's supposed to do. He just couldn't do it. And I guess my point is like, why is it all of a sudden in Cleveland, like you need some veteran to coach the rookie?
I guess Gary brings up a
Bill
good
Musgrave has been a quarterback coach for 20 years.
I guess what Mike's trying to say is what Gary's saying currently on YouTube there. They learn and watch how veterans study and prepare and deal with adversity. This isn't Madden. I would say from a veteran perspective, that's needed. I would agree with Chad that some veterans don't even want to coach rookies because they know their job is going to be taken in one play.
Right.
Joe Flacco said that. I know everybody's like, Joe Flacco needs to come in. Joe Flacco's like, he was getting frustrated because they kept on asking about Shedeur.
I would agree with Gary on that too, is that you want a veteran there to be an example. But like
our example right now is a quarterback that is not on the field because people are saying Deshaun Watson's there. Deshaun Watson's not even on the field. How is he going to teach someone how to study?
No, but he's in the film room and he's in the meeting room, but he isn't on the field. That's what I'm saying. Is like in the film room, he's there to help them break down film and say like, this is what you were looking at when you ran back there. You should have seen this blitz coming. Like they're going to help them do that because yes, they have a quarterback coach, but they do have to watch film on their own for hours a week, like a ton of time, more than anybody like really gives credit. I guess my only thing is like, I didn't hear one thing about the veteran when we traded Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel was there. I don't hear anything about the veteran right now in Tennessee. I don't hear anything about needing a veteran presence. They in New Orleans right now, they have a rookie and then they have a second-year guy, Spencer Rattler.
To be fair, that
Like,
rookie's 30 years old, so.
so is Dylan. So I mean,
that is true. Dylan's like 40
we
years
got
old.
old ass
All
Bailey
right.
Zappi and Dylan Gabriel
yeah.
are probably close.
All right, we'll move on to receivers now. Shedeur will probably start. We're excited. Hopefully, he doesn't hold the ball so long that is going to require the offensive lineman to get overtime for sitting there waiting for him to throw the ball. But the Browns wide receiver room, other than, I mean, it's the same thing every week. I texted you guys. Yeah, you guys just like copy and paste, man. Every week it's the same thing. Just
They were
paste, copy
technically
paste.
better. How are they been so bad that this was a good week? Because Jerry Jeudy caught 3 passes and Cedric Tillman caught 3 passes.
I think we were just
Corley
excited to see Jerry Jeudy catch the ball pretty much 2 games in a row. I mean, he's been getting his head out of his ass and catching the ball. I don't know if they put stickums on his glove or what, but he's catching.
At this point, I don't care. Like, do whatever you have to do and don't get caught. You suck.
Not to backpedal, but you did bring up a good point about Shedeur, and I was reminded of him sitting on a bench and he looked so deflated.
Yes,
I think he needs to fix that.
He carries his emotions. Honestly, that you brought it up in preseason. You're like, I don't like the way he looks on the sidelines. People say like he gets so down when he doesn't play well that he's like a hands in his head, like this is all my fault guy. And maybe he works his way out of that. I wonder if some of that comes from like just him and his dad for all that time. Like he's in a tough shadow, guys. Like, and again,
for sure, but it was his first NFL. He didn't even start the game. He just came in the half. There was no game plan. That's what's a bummer.
You know who else did that? Baker Mayfield in the year 2018. He beat the Jets by throwing like 3 touchdowns, and he was an icon from like that point on. And I'm not saying I was expecting that out of Shedeur. I've been saying the whole time, like, I am not anti-Shedeur. I'm anti-ruining Shedeur by doing the wrong thing with him. Yeah. And this concussion slid him in earlier than they wanted. They already had Dylan in earlier than they wanted, probably. I'm assuming. Shedeur, they didn't want him to go in this way. They said, like, we want to have a game plan for him. He plays a different kind of game. Like, they didn't want this to happen. And now this week he'll get his game plan, and he's playing a cupcake team as far as, like, defense goes, at least in NFL standards. But
Angel's biting his lips so hard right now when you said they're playing.
I wouldn't say that.
On defense,
I think Crosby's going to cause so much issues.
Crosby's their guy. Crosby's going to come after him. Yeah. But I just think, like I said, is there a worse situation? He could be playing the Steelers. I think the Vikings have a really, really tough coach to defense. Yeah. Like we've played a really tough defensive schedule, guy. Like really tough defensive schedule for most of the season. We were very fortunate that the Jets traded away 2 of their best defensive players before we played them. But
they'd still beat us.
But again, like I just think like Dylan's easier game was this Ravens one, and he should have been better against the Jets. This will be Shedeur's one because there's going to be a lot tougher ones. Like we are getting to the easier defensive part of the schedule, and I'm thankful because I'm not this like it's Dylan versus Shedeur guys. Like what if Shedeur has easier matches and he looks better? I hope that's the case. I hope they're all easier because the best thing that could happen for Shedeur, for Cleveland, and for us is he looks good. Because what Mike brought up the point of next year, if the Browns stink and they have the top 3 pick in the draft, they're taking a quarterback. It's so hard to believe they won't. So the best thing that can happen for Sanders is he either earns the backup position or he's valuable enough that you can trade him for something, and that will only happen if he looks good. And the best thing that can happen for him is he looks great, and we get to spend those 2 picks on a lineman and a receiver, and that would be our absolute best scenario. And I'm just like, I guess I'm just thankful now that, like, if Shedeur has a good game and plays himself in the starting position, then, like, at least he is at a part of the schedule where minus 1 or 2 really, really tough games that are coming up, he has a lot of easier competition to let him rebuild his confidence that's been shook, get some things done. Like, I just want him to be, it's never easy. He's not going to get any gimmies, but but I just want him to be set up for success where like he can actually do the things he's good at. Because if he's driven in the wrong direction, I could just see a scenario. I think after watching his reaction to the games he's played bad in, I hope we can all see a scenario where like this spirals and cannot be reversed. And I do not want that to happen. We've seen it with guys. And it's whether a lot of times it happens because of injury. A lot of times it happens because the defenses just come after them, crush them. They lose. They get gun shy. They're afraid to go down the field. And I just it's such a waste of potential if that is the direction we end up with him.
Yeah. It's that we're not gonna talk about the offense line. We already talked about them and their
Yep.
Or lack thereof.
protecting
Play.
pocket collapse faster than the Browns fans after week 1.
Did you write these all out before the show?
Yeah.
It's dad jokes, man.
I'm freaking dying here.
Next one up is the defense, and three people in particular we're going to hit on. Myles Garrett, 4 sacks. I think he had 5 tackles for loss. I could be wrong on that. 4 sacks. Yeah, 4 sacks for sure. And he's leading in sacks and tackles for loss.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
Hall
right
of
now
Famer.
And I've seen him come around the backside. He caught Henry once. Like I've seen him come around this backside and catch running backs multiple times this season. But the fact that tackles for loss are not a line like a rush linebacker or a defensive lineman is awesome.
You want to know why he's doing so well, right? Our boy Mason Graham. There's
Pressure
a lot
up the
of
middle. This kid
Yeah,
continues to look. It looks like Mason Graham had a slow start, and then like a week ago, like something. I don't know if it'll stick, but he had another good game this week. Last week was his best game.
yeah.
It looks like he's kind of figuring out how to balance his old job with his new job of like pressure.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's close to a couple sacks. I was watching the all-22 and he's getting frustrated because
he
it's
got
Miles
one.
getting it, He got one,
Yeah,
but
I thought he got
there's
one.
one in particular, like he diverted the quarterback to Miles and Miles got him. You can tell he wasn't mad at Miles, but he's like, should have been mine.
No,
Like
yeah. I
he's
love
like,
that.
"Dang
I
it."
would love for this relationship to be like, I'm gonna steal some of these from Miles and
Yeah.
like just drives him. He looks to me like, not to toot our horn because like you just don't know, but like we were like really high on him early and people were really skeptical all over the league, despite like every single draft guide having
Yeah.
him as a top 5
Top 5
player.
guy.
Analysts were like, I don't know about this. Like I heard 100 people call him a bust before he ever played, but he looks like he is an off season in the weight room away from being a real weapon. Like right
And-
now he's showing flashes, but given his frame, I think he gets a little more explosive and like you're going to really have a chance to get something out of him.
And that's the thing about rookies. People don't think like Carson's a rookie, and most of his offseason was doing rookie things, not preparing to get better for the NFL. He was getting ready for the draft, the combine. His focus was not on becoming an NFL player as far as a
I
system.
think Carson's going to be up here. I think Carson's
Yeah.
going to have the offseason of like learning more football because he's so instinctive. If he can start learning these quarterbacks cadences, trends, like habits of like certain players and motions, like he's already got like you've seen him, like he's got an NFL build. I don't think he's a weight room away, although he will probably continue to develop his size. So he's young. He's going to continue to develop his size, but like he'll be a guy that I think with more experience can honestly be he looks like he can be one of the best linebackers in the league. And that's what's like tough for me because we had this conversation and Jackson Dart's hurt now, so that like calmed it. But Carson Schlesinger is the guy we would have missed out on if we had traded up to get Jackson Dart, which I think there was a week or two in the season where people were like, I love Carson, but I would love Jackson Dart. Another
this
guy,
point, yeah.
another guy that's Shedeur-esque, where like he only throws for like he's not Shedeur because he's like more mobile. He's just a more physical guy, but a guy who like finishes a game and he threw for like 50% completion percentage. Shedeur threw for 25. I don't think that's the normal. I think that's gonna pop back up.
Go up,
But like he only throws for 50%, but they win. He rushes for 2 touchdowns, and he throws like 2 great downfield throws, and you're like, I see something still shaky. So we'll see if he pulls it together and which direction he goes. But I feel like that is like, I'm almost glad that that conversation's over because I feel like for a while I was like, I really want to love Carson so much, but knowing that that could have been a quarterback was tough, and it would have been Carson Schlesinger plus Dylan Gabriel, which if we had Dart, no one would care if Dylan wasn't here.
Yeah.
Most people don't care about it anyway. So it was like in my head, it's just Schlesinger for Dart.
Our defense probably would look a little different with Carson not being there.
True.
I don't know.
True, and we have good
Well,
defenders,
I-
but like Carson,
Yeah.
it's good to have a guy that young who looks that good early because he's not even like JOK's versatility or physicality. He's just got it. He just gets it. It's been so long since we have a linebacker that's just like, I understand exactly what the offense is trying to do, and I'm going to be in the hole when the running back shows up.
Can
It's
you
awesome.
guys imagine Carson Schlesinger and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the backfield together?
No, and I'm
That would
hoping they
be-
sign Devin Bush again too, because that trio would be possibly the best trio we've ever had, which is insane. Because before our time, well, early in our time, like they had some linebackers in
Yeah, some
Cleveland.
dogs.
So like
Yeah.
The cardiac
crazy.
hits.
It's crazy to think like, could that trio be the best trio they've
Yeah.
ever had? Those are incredible. Those are
That's why
having
this draft
multiple
you
Pro Bowl
have
guys.
to focus. You're gonna have to focus on offense. Like I think you got good pieces on defense that you can survive. You're gonna sign. There's a
Dude,
think
this team is
Harden.
2 years of using every valuable pick, and those to me are first and seconds are gold, thirds are silver. To me, this is like 2 years of using all of those picks that are possible on linemen, receivers, and offensive weaponry, a quarterback. Like it's a quarterback, it's receivers, it's offensive line for 2 full years. 6 picks in a row, I don't care.
Yeah.
Time.
Mike,
It's
what do you
time.
think about your boy Carson?
My favorite player on the team right now, hands down. I
You
like the
bought his
kid.
jersey early, right?
I
Yeah, he
did. I got this
Got
as
it.
well.
He's got a helmet signed by him too. Yeah. He's got the full. He's gonna need cleats.
The
and
real
pants.
alpha dog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
he's awesome.
yeah, this team is a couple offensive pieces away. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the draft and what quarterback they pick if Kevin's around. I'm a little worried.
I'll time out you. Since you brought it up, for those that haven't been following the draft, I'm to the point of the season where I'm like, I'm just going to look every week, see what pick we're at, kind of look at mock drafts to see who's ranked high.
Yeah.
I don't trust them. I don't care. I just like to see the changes. The Browns are currently moved from 8th to over the next week they were 5th. This week they're 3rd. We're currently 3rd in the draft, which is somehow a positive because every other team that had the chance to had like 1 or 2 wins and had a chance to win and help us out lost, and the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the shit out of the LA Chargers. Like it wasn't even competitive. It's very frustrating watching them open the season with like 3 fortunate wins against bad teams by like a late score, and now they're kind of like coming around. The Jaguar pick is at like 21.
21.
I never would have imagined it was lower than 14. I would have been like, they're picking in the low teens. That's a great trade. We got a great pick. And now it's like, what are we going to get for that? Like the 3rd or 4th tackle or like wide receiver 3? Like, so tough.
I don't know if you saw this, but
how many quarterbacks fall.
I really want them to be bad so bad. And they were so close to bad. And now they're pulling it together.
Yeah. What was that?
I don't
But
know
yeah,
if you guys
so the
saw
Browns
this, but a couple weeks ago,
are-
our strength of schedule was the 2nd in the NFL, and now we're at 6th. So that's
so we
that's
started
It doesn't
1st.
matter.
Second, 6th. Our second half of the season strength of schedule was 22. Our first half of the season strength schedule was 1. Like the difference between the before and after the bye is just incredible. So
Yeah.
and we were the
people
unfortunate
say-
team. We played Lamar twice. He's missed most of the season. Somehow we got stuck with him twice. Everybody else got
Yeah.
like Tyler Huntley, and then
Yeah.
we had to play Joe Burrow, and then they've been playing Flacco and
Joe Burrow
what's
might-
his name the rest of the season.
Burrow might be
So
back
even
before
the
Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, even the teams that were losing, we have gotten them with their best quarterback, and other teams have been fortunate enough to avoid that.
Yeah, so
Very
we're
frustrating.
gonna. It's interesting because the reason why I brought up the Kevin and the quarterback situations because you have to if he stays around, obviously, you have to find a quarterback that makes sense to his system. I'm starting to realize that,
Mhm.
and I'm not looking as much as I love Mendoza, but I'm like, can he fit? And he has that Kirk Cousins personality that he's a little more athletic than Kirk Cousins, but um, it'll be interesting to see who they fall in love with. I know Barry's scouting now, um, and a lot of people are saying you have to take a tackle high. I think their main focus on free agency will be offensive line, and I think they want to draft quarterback and receiver
Everybody's coming off
in
the
the
books,
draft.
guys, right? It's like Teller's on the last year. Teller has one more year's deal, but we found out I heard from somebody that's a dummy deal. That's not real. So that's like an extension year. So Teller's supposed to come off the books. Batonio may come off the books. Conklin may come off the books.
He
Hoschick,
should,
I
man.
think, has
He's not
one
even
more
around.
year, and then we
Conklin's
don't really
hurt,
have
man.
somebody on the left. So it's just very much like I think you have to hit free agency because there's only a couple backups on this team, and then you're going to have to do a turnaround.
Didn't we have
Yeah,
Didn't Cam Robinson go down this week too?
yeah, he
Yeah.
did. So did
So there's another left tackle
Or-
out for now.
Yeah, and
Yep.
yeah, the guy went out. The guy's always hurt.
I
We
mean,
just
we go
talked
through
about.
left tackles
Yeah.
like, and this has been going on like since Jed Will's second
Yeah.
year and Conklin's, I think, second year here when they
Chad Will's
started
my
getting
favorite
injured.
player.
Yeah.
He
By the
might
way,
come back. He might be
that is
back.
before this year. That was the last offensive player that we got with a first or second round pick. Jed Wills,
Yeah.
2020. That's why this defense is so much better than the offense, in my opinion. Like, yes, the coaching needs to be better. We obviously need quarterback more than anything to make any offense look good. But like, the more time passes, the more I'm like, why am I shocked? We drafted Jed Will with a first pick in 2020, and then we drafted guys like JOK, Newsome, Grant Delpit, Mike Hall, Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger. Like, we were just reaching at defensive players with every key pick we had for years,
Because
and I'm like,
defense wins championships.
didn't I? How did I not? How did we all not see? Like, we haven't picked an offensive player at the top of the draft in like a half a decade. Obviously, they're not going to be very talented, even if we had a quarterback, which we don't. We might, but we don't yet.
If we did, it'd be the Cincinnati
Ah,
effect with the bad line, but it stinks, man.
yeah.
This team, I'm down on this team. I wouldn't be
It's just
surprised if
tough.
we were back here talking about the Raiders winning like
It's just really
13 to
tough.
9.
I'm starting to get to the point of the season where I hate because I don't like tanking, but I'm at the point of the season where I'm like, well, it's a blessing in disguise that Sanders had such a bad second half because I really think we probably could have won that game if Dylan stayed in. And it's not because Dylan's any good. It's just because a backup quarterback coming in on the fly and it was not going to play as good as Dylan was. You know, Dylan put up only 9 points in the first half. If he just puts in 3 or 6 in the second half, we probably win that game. And I'm already to the sad point where I'm like, well, it gets us a little better draft pick. We lost again. We're not going anywhere. And I hate to think that way, but it does creep in your head where you're like, you're getting to the point where I just know losing is bad for the veterans. It's bad for the culture, but it's good for the draft pick. And until we have a quarterback that I believe in, I'm just like, your draft pick means you're one chance. Right now, people think it's a two-man race. It's Simpson and Mendoza. Change, obviously. It changed last year. It changed the year before that.
Moore,
But
Dante
right now, it's
Moore.
like, well, there's two. You definitely want to pick in the top 3 if you're going to get your hands on one of the two. And like, I would hate for that to slip away and one of these other crappy teams to. I'd hate for the Raiders to like
Raid.
nab the only guy we wanted, and then somebody to like jump us by giving 3 draft picks to get ahead of us, and we're like, no.
That's why you hope like Dante Moore comes out because I like Dante from Oregon. I like him too. I think he has potential.
There's multiple guys that I think have potential. The sad news is a lot of these guys with potential you don't want to start for even the first half of their rookie year, if
Might
at
be a
all.
veteran.
And we're gonna be pretty, yeah, we're gonna be pretty friggin'
Be a
impatient
veteran.
if they're like, well, our starter will be Dylan Gabriel next season, and it'll be like for the whole year.
I have a quick question for you guys. Since Tom Brady's part owner of the Raiders, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if Geno Smith goes down, do you think they're going to throw Kenny Pickett in, or do you think Brady
Yes.
will lace up since he's actually a part of the organization?
See Brady coming out.
I can tell you who I think would do the better job, and I like
Yeah.
Pickett more than almost anybody except for Angel. But like, yeah,
Brady
I
would be
send
cutting
Tom
us
Brady to
up.
Cleveland right now. I think we'd be in better shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Speaking of
that's
that,
all we
guys,
have. Go ahead, Mike.
Real quick,
Sorry.
join us on the Saturday show, the Browns Morning Brew. We're going to talk about the 2-8 Browns against the 2-7 Raiders at 4:05 game at Allegiant Stadium. That's a beautiful stadium, but horrible team. But yeah, Browns Morning Brew, 10 o'clock this Saturday. It'll be me, Gary, and Sam.
Just a
Sam,
little
you guys get to see
nugget.
Sam's face. He's
Sam's
feeling a little bit
face.
better now. So
Browns are on a 5-game losing streak to the Raiders. Last time they won, 2014. Do you know who the quarterback
I feel
was?
like you almost don't need to finish that sentence. Like the Browns are on a 5-game losing streak.
It's almost 11 years since they even beat the Raiders because they don't play every year. Brian Hoyer was the quarterback. You know who the running back was? Remember Ben Tate?
Ben Tate.
Ben Tate. Wow, I haven't heard that name in
Yeah,
forever.
The Browns have this list. We know the quarterback list. I still need reminders sometimes, but the Browns do have this running back list that cracks me up. Where I'm like, oh, I forgot, because the Browns not only have have gone through a pile of running backs before Chubb, they kept going through running backs who kind of showed some flashes and were good for like a year, and then just hung around for 3 more on the decline. It was like this Isaiah Crowell's and like the William Greens and guys where you're like, oh, they've got this great running back. Peyton Hill is like all these guys where you're like, oh, dude, they just nailed. They got this superstar running back. Or like we'd bring in a veteran where we're like, oh, Jamal Lewis, like he's pretty darn good. And then they give you like 1 year Trent Richardson. Like we have so many guys that gave us like a year, and then the next year we're like different guy.
Do you guys want to hear something funny? I was so psyched that I voted every day for Peyton Hillis to be on a cover of Madden. But meanwhile, I forgot about the Madden curse. If you're on a cover, you're going down.
You ruined him.
And it did.
Dude,
it's your fault.
And this curse was self-inflicted. Do you guys remember the reports? Like he was so in his head. They're like, he showed up the next year. He's got like a pair of like $5,000 like Gator boots on. He's driving like a like $200,000 truck. He's just like walks to the locker room like he's the greatest running back in Browns history, and like he just absolutely
fell off a shelf,
fell off the map. And it was like, it's rare to see a guy that is so up in his own shit that he's like, I'm here, and then it's like, you're not. It's over for you like that if you stop grinding. He went from like the ultimate grinder. Right? People are like, oh, this guy bore hunts. This guy would like let his heart explode to get 1 extra yard, and the next year he's like,
I think, give me my money. I think the issue was contract that he wanted to get paid, and I think I do remember a couple of times where he was out of the lineup because of a sore throat. I do remember that.
There was the one where his agent told him not to play that game because he would look bad because he wasn't feeling well. So he just sat himself. And then it was like the beginning of the end for him.
And that's what hurt him. They're like, all right, it's because it's Mangini.
Will that work for me for next Tuesday show? Could I just sit myself? Because I don't want to talk about us losing to the Raiders. Yeah. Sorry.
I've got the black lung, Pop.
From the if we lose to the Raiders, it'll be fine. We'll jump them. They can't. We'll have better.
We're getting that point. Yeah, we're getting that point, right? Like we lost the Jets, and I was devastated. We lose to the Raiders, I'm going to be like, real close to December, and we're all the way.
Yeah. Before we leave, everybody, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Definitely like, share, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. We will be here Saturday morning at 10 for the Browns Morning Brew, and we'll be back Tuesday to talk about the Raiders.
And any other news that breaks, just stay tuned to all our socials. We try to update them constantly. Got some stuff coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned.
Good news for the Browns Morning Brew. I will not be on there to bitch about all the Shedeur excuses. I hate them.
Oh, Sam says we're going to lose to the Titans.
Oh my God!
Basically, we're going to lose out. Basically,
hey, can we say we're in a tank now? Tank? tank guys?
I'm
Anybody?
at that point. I mean, what's the point
Guys,
of
Chad?
winning?
I just think
That's
I
like a
think
cuss word
tank
to
is
Chad.
purposely the one tank thing I think they did was trade Flacco. But like I said, if he was not threatening, but if he was contemplating retirement, they almost had to make the move. But the one tanky thing felt like when you put Flacco out of the equation, you're setting this team up with only rookies, and if they're not ready, you're done. I honestly just think I think tanking is like the front office setting them up to lose. I just think they're so bad. I think
Yeah.
if you asked Andrew Berry to start the season, like, you're going to start Dylan Gabriel all 16 games, how do you think you'll do? I think he'd be like, oh, we'll grab a couple. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you're not getting any. You're not getting any.
Nothing.
I
The
don't
only
know.
thing
Like,
we'll look forward to is Miles Garrett's
I'm
sack
starting
record.
to feel
Hopefully he
towards
breaks
tank.
it.
I think we're
Yeah.
getting to the point where, sadly, the fans are starting to think tank. I think the team is thinking, like, compete, try to win what you can. The front office is like, we can't really tank anymore. What else would we do? The trade deadline's over. We're stuck with these guys. I just think
Well,
this team is so bad. Tanking almost feels like giving them an excuse, like, oh, they're trying to lose. And I'm like, no, I think that sadly, I think
No,
they
'cause
are
they just
trying
lost. They just
really
suck.
hard to win. Like, you watch this defense out there grinding, and you watch Jerry Jeudy fighting for one extra yard, and you're like, oh my God, they're trying their best.
well, you know what I thought was smart, to be honest, is I thought, trading that pick to the Jags and getting their first round pick for next year was going to be brilliant because the Jags suck, just like we do.
Yeah, they're
Well,
way
we
better than
thought.
Good
I thought they'd be
offensive
better
coach.
than us, but I thought they'd be like, I
Good
thought they'd be
team.
around 500 or at best, and they're winning. They're like 5-3 or 6-3
Yeah.
or something. I'm like, no.
What are those numbers?
You-
I'm not used to
no.
hearing those anymore.
That's why if you
5-3,
get a
I'd take
couple
that.
lucky couple times in the beginning of the season, it works out for you toward the end because
Yes, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. They won like 3 very fortunate games out of their first 5 and they could have easily lost any of them, and they could have been like 1-5, and instead they came out of it like 4-2, and you're like, shit. And
Yeah.
then now they're just holding it. Now now they're kind of coming around where they might have given up. They might have been like, it's over.
we're done.
And they're doing it without Hunter, by the way. He's not even out. He's hurt.
Yeah. Thank you for
They're
Mason.
doing it without the number 2 pick in the draft.
But another
Yeah.
good news: the Raiders are last in the AFC West, so let's use that to our advantage, hopefully, and win 3 games again this year, guys. I think the
Yeah.
Titans will beat us. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I think Titans are more winnable right now. At least that's how I feel because I don't think
I'm not
Cam
sure who
will.
I'm going to pick this week, but I think the Titans just are
It's easy. Raiders gonna win.
bad. The Titans-
But tune in, like Mike said, we'll be live Saturday, between 10 and 11 ish on all platforms. They're going to break down the game. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. I love. Until next time, like always, go Browns.
Go Browns.